of course the baby hairs. I'm really happy with that, and also having this gap filled out. And nowadays I actually feel pretty good without using the crimper. Hi everyone, I'm heytinatomato. So back in February this year, I started a hair experiment, which was to apply castor oil in my hair every other day to see if it will thicken my hair and also fill in the hairline. Because at the time my hair was very limp and it was basically on the thinner side. And I had to really crimp the root of my hair to add more volume whenever I was filming. I also observed some gaps. I basically would see kind of like a gap between my bangs and the rest of my head, because my hairline is pretty far back. And also at the time my scalp was quite irritated and it was very dry, but at the same time it produced a lot of oil. So even my second day hair would look very flat. So after 1 month of using the castor oil in my hair every other day consistently, at the end of the 1 month experiment, my scalp felt a lot healthier and my hair was also shinier and also bouncier. And also one unexpected result I got was that even back in February, where it was the really dry winter time, my hair actually didn't produce a lot of static like it used to. So that was really nice. But whether the castor oil was beneficial to hair growth was still unclear, because 1 month was just not enough. So now it's in June and I've been using castor oil on and off for almost 6 months now, and I want to share my experience with you guys. So after that 1 month long experiment, I continued to use castor oil in my hair at least once a week. At first it was a few times a week, and then as time went on, I became less and less consistent with it. But I would still make sure to use it at least once a week. Sometimes I will leave it in my hair overnight, and then sometimes I will just leave it on for a few hours and then wash it off. And now I'm almost finished with that bottle of castor oil. And after posting that video, I got a lot of comments from you guys, and I just have to give a nod to the passionate comments about the Head and Shoulder shampoo. I'm no longer using it. I still have a lot left in the bottle, so I think I might use it to clean my windows. But other than that, I also learned from you guys on the different types of oils that you guys have experienced with. For example, there's rosemary oil, amla oil, ginger extract, onions, rice water, like all sorts of home remedies that will grow hair. So I looked into every single one of them and decided to start with adding rosemary oil to my routine. And from my research, rosemary oil seems to be very promising. So I chose rosemary oil because it has really good anti-inflammatory properties, and it can also improve blood circulation. And as a result, it prevents the hair follicles from being starved of nutrients and thereby preventing hair loss. And there's also scientific studies to back it up. In a study done in 2015, it was shown that rosemary essential oil was just as effective as minoxidil in terms of hair growth. And minoxidil is basically Rogaine. And when it comes to soothing the itchiness of the scalp, rosemary was actually superior. So onto Amazon I went and got myself a small bottle of rosemary essential oil. So rosemary oil can be applied in 2 ways. One is directly on your scalp. I like to dispense around 5 to 6 drops on my palm and then apply the oil using my fingers, because I find that this way it's easier to distribute the oil evenly. Then you can just leave it as is and then go about your day. I like to do this on second or third day hair because the oil has a very refreshing scent, and it can just make my hair feel cleaner than it actually is. One thing you have to be really careful about is that rosemary oil is a very, very lightweight oil. So it's very easy to apply. It's not like castor oil. It's the opposite of castor oil. It's very, very lightweight. You can easily get it to absorb in your hair and your scalp. However, if you don't massage it well, it might just like drip down your forehead. There is that stinging feeling, so you definitely don't want to get it in your eyes. And the thing with rosemary oil is that it's so lightweight, you don't even feel it when it's dripping down your forehead. That's how lightweight it is. And then the second way to use rosemary oil is to actually mix it with a carrier oil. For example, castor oil. So the castor oil and rosemary oil makes a really good combination because castor oil is really, really thick, very, very viscous, and rosemary oil is really lightweight. So when you mix the two together, it just creates a perfect consistency and makes the castor oil a lot easier to apply to the hair, and I think also easier to wash off. So I really like this combination. If you're finding that the application of castor oil is just then you can consider mixing in some rosemary oil. That's going to make your life so much easier. I usually will just do 2 pumps of castor oil and then 5 to 6 drops of rosemary oil, and that will give you a very liquid consistency. Okay, so now it's time to look at the result. Even though my hair is the same length as back in February, I've actually had 2 haircuts already. Obviously, I wasn't able to go to any hair salon because of the lockdown. I just basically cut it myself. I took a scissors and then just snipped it from the bottom. But both haircuts was basically a blunt cut. There's no layers or anything. So I think my hair definitely grew pretty fast. And then the reason that I really wanted to make this update is because recently I started noticing a lot of baby hairs popping up in the center of my hairline. So I've always had baby hairs, but in the recent few months I've been noticing more and more of them, mostly like concentrating in the middle of my part, and then also when I brush it I can see like a lot of baby hairs on the side of my head, basically in the areas that I was applying the oils. And the length of them is all like around 2 inches. So basically my hair grows at the rate of 1 inch per month. So we can basically calculate that these baby hairs started to grow out back in March and April. And I think if you look at the previous video, I didn't have that much baby hair in the center of my head. And another thing that I noticed is that I used to have a gap between my bangs and the rest of my hair. Like there will be a gap because, you know, my hairline is pretty far back. But in the recent few months, I actually haven't noticed that gap. I think maybe it's because the baby hairs are filling in that gap and it's just not very noticeable anymore. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think it worked out pretty well. I think it definitely made my hair healthier, it made my scalp healthier. My scalp is no longer irritated, it doesn't feel weighed down by my own hair. So that was one of the problems that I had back in January. Like my hair just felt so irritated, felt so brittle, and now it doesn't feel like that anymore. I also noticed that I can actually go on without washing my hair for 2-3 days and it didn't feel that disgusting. It was still flat, but I feel like my scalp didn't produce as much oil as before. And then of course the baby hairs, I'm really happy with that, and also having this gap filled out. So overall I'm very happy with the result, but the result is subtle. Like it didn't give me a full head of hair like Selena Gomez. I just got a little bit more hair for what I could have with my genetics. So I hope this video is helpful. I think there is no harm in using castor oil. It will make your hair healthier, shinier, bouncier, improve the overall integrity, but just keep your expectations realistic. Oh, but there is one thing I also want to touch upon, which is experiencing more hair loss. So even though I'm seeing more hair growth, at the same time, in the past few months, I think starting in April maybe, I actually felt like I've been losing more hair than usual. Not in the amount that is very concerning yet, but definitely I think there's more hair loss. I think it's normal to lose 100 strands. I haven't been losing that much yet, but basically what I've been noticing is that every time I wash my hair, when I run my fingers through my hair in the shower, there will be some loose hair that come out. And then after I come out of the shower, there will be more hair that fall out. So yeah, I don't know what is up with that. I don't know if it's the result of castor oil, or maybe it's a change of seasons, or maybe it's because I'm not getting enough sunlight. My diet hasn't changed. I've been exercising less. I've been sleeping later. So that could be one of the reasons. And then another thing is that I didn't get enough protein in the month of March and April. I think it's because, you know, I'm mostly plant-based, so I don't buy any meat products. And back in March and April, tofu was just selling out every time I go to the grocery stores. So for a long time, they didn't have any access to tofu, which is my main source of protein. That could be a problem. We'll see. I'll keep a close eye on that. But overall, I don't think my hair has gotten thinner from more hair fall. So I've actually received a product from HairMax. So this is their laser hair comb. So they basically use low-level laser to stimulate your scalp to help you produce more hair. And their target is basically people who are experiencing alopecia. You know, it doesn't matter if you have alopecia or not, low-level laser can be a really good way to basically stimulate the hair follicles to make sure that they're getting enough nutrient and they're growing in a healthy way. So I'm going to be testing this out for 4 months. And also HairMax is a brand that I have always known about, and I have been aware of their product, and I've always been really interested. They are kind of expensive, but then if you're subscribed to my channel, I will always negotiate for you guys to get some kind of perks or discount, and then sometimes even giveaways. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel and give this video a like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!